Girl, don't call my phone up. I know where you been. You like to get messy when you out with your friends. I'm not scared to say that I'm insecure, but you're too scared to say that you want more. Girl, don't call my phone up. I know where you been. You like to get messy when you out with your friends. I'm not scared to say that I'm insecure, but you're too scared to say that you want more. You don't gotta tell me I'm the truth. I already knew. Pull up in a Bentley coupe, finna cop it too. You don't gotta tell me I'm the truth. I already knew. Pull up in a Bentley coupe, finna cop it too. You don't gotta tell me I'm the truth. I already knew. Pull up in a Bentley coupe, finna cop it too. You don't gotta tell me I'm the truth. I already knew. Pull up in a Bentley coupe, finna cop it too.
What's up, pups? How's everybody doing?
Girl, don't call my phone up. I know where you been. You like
David
to get
Murphy,
messy
what's happening?
when you out with your friends. I'm not scared to say that I'm insecure, but you're too scared to say that
Donald
you want
Bondi, what's
more.
happening? Archie,
Girl, don't call
Josh
my
T,
phone
what's
up.
up?
I
The
know where you
Bendu.
been. You like to get messy when you out with your friends.
What's up, T? It's Pedro. Good evening. Yeah, hit the like button on your way in, everybody. Smash that like button. Mike Crip, what's up? Nice to meet you. What's up, Alpha Hover? Thank you. Yeah, it's really sad, man. What's up, Real Billionaire Boys? Alpha Hover. Crypto Phil, what's going on? Fred. Archie. What's up, Honda? Nice to meet you. What's up, Ghosts? What's good, man? What's up, Andrew? Deerslayer, good to see you. Smash like and subscribe, he says. Theodora, good evening. Good to see you. What's up, Luna C. Point? What's up, Grey Knight? Wow, this cycle is nothing short of spectacular. What's up, Andrew? What's up, Les Banking? William Dugan, great to see you. Blessings, brother. Gonna be a fun 3 months. What's up, Rapid Unbox? How you doing? Hans, what's up? Yep, like, subscribe, and share, says Luna C. Point. How's everybody doing out there in X-Land? There's a bit of a, I guess there's a chat going on. We can go listen to it if it's still happening. It was a trap. Super Snake. Yeah, that's right. What's up, Tam Tam? Good to see you. I was listening to a little bit of you. I don't know, is that still happening on Twitter right now? Maybe we can catch some of it. What's up, DJ Moonboy? How you doing? Ashmore, Love Matters. Firestarter 369. Everybody is in the house. Everybody's ready. What's going on over here? Oh, KR the Ghost. Okay, let's jump in there really quick. Let's see what they're talking about, and then we'll start up the show here. What do you say? I left the space when I saw you were live streaming. Oh, okay. Should I see what they're doing? What are they talking about? Don't pay attention to any of that. Let's see. This is so bad. Richard is bullish. Well, good. Let's see what's going on.
Guys, that's all I gotta say. How do you come say that?
How do I make this bigger?
Could you imagine all of a sudden we see like the ETH Sack Wallet Treasury have more ETH in it?
Oh,
Just
Straight
got a
up.
little
I mean,
scalp.
that
Just
was
got a little scalp.
weird timing. I don't know what they did with that. I mean, I'm not a tracker or anything. I'm just an ape.
He's been kind of tweeting like a little cocky, you know, like he got a little.
Yeah. The
He
LOL.
definitely caught the bottom there for sure.
The LOL was a little.
What if you
bit-
saw those little sack wallets with a fat ass long on ETH right now? Like just right at the very bottom.
120
Bro's in a crazy position. Dark pools.
And he's like, yeah, exactly.
Bro's in a
Because he
dark
did
pool
say in
now.
that tweet, he did say something about leverage repositioning. Do you remember that tweet? I think KR had mentioned it before about Richard talking about leverage. I mean, obviously, he posted his videos about leverage is not good for you and all that shit. But
Yeah, I remember the one.
Yeah,
I'm gonna find it now.
He's
Hold on.
actually probably doing it, brother. I mean, when you have that much money, I feel like you have to always be leveraged with a couple mil, ready for it to do exactly what happened. I feel like if you have that much in crypto, you have to, in my opinion. In case that happens and you have it set up the right way, you just cash the fuck out,
Well, I hope he's got a nice leverage position on when he's selling as well. Just short the market and dump.
But yeah, if X Games does well, it's just going to be good for the chain, and that's all I have to say.
All right, let's get into it. RH has been tweeting too, so we got to go check that out. All right, it's been crazy. Just a reminder that on September 20th in the Telegram group, which I know everybody listening out there is, I posted this on September 20th. And I just posted this tweet. I said, I didn't know the magnitude, but I knew something would take out all the leverage of the crypto market. Here's a post I made in the Telegram group on September 20th that predicted it all. Why aren't you inside at St. Wolf Vision? So this is the exact message from the Telegram group. And I wrote exactly this. I said, something soon should take out all the leverage. Massive upside awaits, but climb has to happen with some fear. Wonder if it's next week or do we just start out ascent? Retail is not here yet. Think about it. And this was September 20th. So this was about 2 weeks before the event happened, right? Is that about right? I do about 2 weeks ahead. A little more than that, almost. 2.5 weeks out, I posted this. And my first line was, something should take out all the leverage. And what happened? All the leverage was taken out in the system and everywhere. Everybody was taken out. I actually don't even think the damage is full accounted for yet. We don't really understand. There is over $20 billion of liquidations. Just to put this into perspective for you guys, the zombie apocalypse took out $1.5 billion. That was the zombie apocalypse. This is $20 billion were liquidated. I don't think we know the damages yet, because if something happened, most people are in shock still that lost accounts, million, 5 million, 10 million, 20, 30, 40, 50 million. Exchanges, we don't know who got wiped out yet. We really don't know yet. I think you mentioned this months ago. Big influencer in Kiev. Sorry, it was just me. We need a bit more stealth on pulsechain while watching your sack fund movements. Yeah, so, I knew this. I knew that something was going to take out the leverage. All right, I knew something was coming, and my timing was amazing in terms of having a feel for the market dynamics and the fact that it had to happen around this time. So yeah, you should be in the Telegram group, but of course I'm going to be dropping more and more alpha in the Instagram because there's a lot of people I'm finding are just stalking the Instagram to pick up these alpha bits, but they don't watch the show. So I thought, okay, for you guys that actually watch the show, go to the Instagram, just follow, and I'll post things like this first there, especially for tokens and things that I think are really good opportunities, and then I'll post them in the Telegram a day later, okay? But I'll post first in the Instagram, St. Wolf 369. St. Wolf 369 is the Instagram. I think some Ukraine. Wall Street cheat sheet. Well, we'll get into that. So, yeah. When I posted this, the liquidations were $9.4 billion, but it actually was around $20 billion. It was unbelievable. And remember the post we had? We were joking around. Jim Cramer said, buy crypto. Old Jim Cramer. I mean, you know, you can't write this stuff, Puffs. You cannot write this stuff. Still. Deerslayer, the Instagram's Saint Wolf 369 on there. And then the Telegram is Saint Wolf Vision, same as the channel. Hope you're well. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good, man. I didn't have any positions open. I took my own advice, right? I mean, I knew that it was coming. I knew it was coming. I knew something was going to take out the leverage. Now, I didn't think it was going to be that big of an event. Like, I didn't expect 20 billion, maybe 5, 10 billion. Okay. 20 billion beyond anything I could have imagined. And the wicks were insane. BTC, see what causes this damage is the speed at which it happens, okay? And I'll explain to you guys why. So, was this Jim Cramer, 126K? Yeah, so this was Jim Cramer right here at the top. 126,000, okay? We made, it's a triple top, it looks like to me so far. And then we rolled over a little bit because a lot of people are smart and they got that Jim Cramer should be, you know, you should take him seriously. I know a lot of smart traders that closed all their longs out. But a lot of other people, they don't, you know, I don't know what it takes for people to learn. I really don't. So in one day, we went from 122 to 107. Was that a 15K drop? I think we dropped more on other places. I think we dropped more. Same ones who were able to buy the exact bottom when you have more control, how many X alts can go up. Not a lot of people were able to buy. Only exchanges were able to buy. This was, yeah, this was crazy. This is a little scary, and I'm going to explain to you a few reasons why. And I'm going to tell you guys some concerns I have. So what happened here is, where am I? So Jim Cramer said buy crypto. Let's go. We're DC and pulsechain this weekend. So what happened is China had announced last week that they were going to curb exports of rare metals, which everybody needs, right, to build circuit boards, to build all electronic devices. You need these rare metals, and China has most of them, okay? So they decided to curb the export of them, which just means they're not going to sell you as much as they used to, all right? And they're restricting the sales of that stuff. So America got pissed, okay? We should go to Donald Trump had posted, I posted Donald Trump's tweet. Let's go to Donald Trump. And then Donald Trump, which we covered on Friday, I believe. I did an emergency stream. Donald Trump then retaliated the next day by announcing 100% tariffs on on China starting November 1st. Okay? Now, this was a really big deal because that would just crush the global economy. That would just crush, yeah, it would just crush everything, okay? Because everybody's dependent on China, not just the U.S., okay? So, but before he posted this, people had already been were taking out shorts already on Bitcoin, massive shorts. So people knew, all right? We don't know who might have known, but some people knew. And we started a bit of a cascade, okay? Now, what happens in it when you have a cascade like this is people are over collateralized and they have cross margin, okay, which means their accounts, because everyone was so certain that we were going to go long, and they certainly didn't think we would crash so hard so fast. They have stop losses set, but they're also cross margin and collateralized with all their altcoins and other assets they own, okay? Now, what I think happened is that people knew this was coming, and the exchanges took advantage of this. Either was it pre-planned, did they know beforehand, or did they just realize it that day and just organized very quickly. I think in some ways they knew beforehand. I think that was the reason that BR, which is BlackRock, has infiltrated Binance, okay, and possibly other exchanges, so that they can coordinate these moves, okay, because this is massive coordination. It's not something that happens very easily. So what happens is when there's a little bit of selling right here, and these mega groups, you know, call them whales or exchanges or big market makers that are aware of what's happening, they all hit sell at the same time. You've got this high speed collapse, and we can go down to the hour chart, okay, and you can see this fall, okay. Now what happens is when it's this fast, even if you have a stop loss set, you will drop too fast and go right past your stop. And the liquidation price will be hit before your stop can be triggered. Now, this is a real thing that happens. Exchanges, you know, it's just part and parcel of trading. And they took advantage of this and completely cleaned out $20 billion. I think 1.5 million traders were liquidated. That's a lot of people. And what you need to understand is that this is most of the market. These were all your whales, all your big traders, all the big players, and we don't even know the extent of the damage yet. This could be in a lot of investment houses, hedge funds. We don't completely have all the information yet, and I don't think we're going to get it until next week, and that's an issue, and that's what I'm going to get into a little bit, because the damage is going to come in Tuesday and Wednesday. So, you know, this idea that we just rip-roar into all-time highs, is it possible? Yeah, it's possible. Surely it is, but it's also possible we get a deluge of really bad news on Tuesday and Wednesday that we need to be ready for. It doesn't mean it's over. It could mean they're just maybe another low. Maybe it just, you know, wicks down, fills out the wick. I don't know. But to think that $20 billion are liquidated and we just go up immediately is a little crazy. It's a little bit crazy. Unless we just believe this is going to be a fully institutional-led run going forward completely. But something's not adding up for me. They took out old players. I mean, there's accounts, 50 million, 100 million, massive accounts. And like I said, we don't even know the extent of the damage. We don't know what other firms have been destroyed that may cause other cascade liquidations on Tuesday or Wednesday. Because if somebody is insolvent on Tuesday and they have to announce it that, hey, our assets are liquidated, we're trying to get backing and blah, 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 and people want their assets, that could cause another wave of liquidations, okay, and selling and fear, right? So we have to be, we got to wait till news comes in. Right now, people are stunned, right? There have been people that have unalived themselves too. Where's been reading up? Yo, dear, make sure you handle these spammers. Chinese could have taken shorts also. Oh yeah, of course, the Chinese were part of this too. Like, I want to emphasize, it wasn't just exchanges and market makers. No, absolutely, China was involved, Russia was involved. These governments, it's in their best interest to do this and work together at times. You know, we'd be crazy to think they don't coordinate these moves. All right, they absolutely probably do. Okay, because this was an extraordinarily fast move to the downside. Extraordinarily fast. Everybody got liquidated, okay? And everyone's alts just got dumped in this cross margin, you know, over collateralized, over leveraged situation. And it happened extremely fast. We can go look at some of these wicks, okay? So this is SUI. SUI dropped from $3.22 to 56 cents here. It's a pretty serious move, right? Like, there may have been people who had their stops lower than that, I suppose. Man, oh man. That is amazing. That is crazy. Yeah, I mean, they're smart. People probably had their stops around a buck. Most like conservative stops were probably going to be, I don't know, we can look. Maybe about $1.20 or something. You know, I don't know. I'm not trading this, but just to give you an idea of, you know, they make sure, let's say we just go really, open it up, okay? 70 cents, let's say you were a really, really conservative trader and you're like, you know what? I'm going to take 70 cents and add 10%. So cents is my stop, right? 62 cents right here. That would have been fair. It went all the way down to 57. Let's see what happened to ADA. Look at ADA. ADA plummeted from 86 cents all the way down to 27 cents. All right. You've got... We didn't even look at ETH yet. Look, ETH went from... ETH dropped from 4,400 down to 3,500. Wow. And fast. I mean, really fast. Crazy. Let's see. Injective. Injective dropped from $12 all the way down to $2.75. These are fucking serious drops. These are fucking serious drops. Look at this shit. Huh. That's not good looking at all. Oh, yeah. Let's go look at XRP. Let's see. We just want to... No unaliving yourself in the casino. Go on, post it. What's up? Let's see. Aster. All the hype was about Aster, right? What happened to Aster? Look, it dropped from... Is this a drop? Okay, cool. Weird. $1.80 to 93 cents. So it went in half. XRP dropped from $2.82 all the way down to $1.60. Okay. XLM dropped all the way down from 38 cents down to 17 cents. Wow. Yeah, these were crazy. Absolutely nuts. Yo, Ricky Reyes got a super chat from Ricky. What's up, Ricky? He says from the crypto is not work one's. Crypto is not work one's life. Stay strong, bros. Thanks, Ricky. Appreciate that. Didn't fully understand what you're saying, but I get the sentiment. I think I got the vibe. Yo, yeah, Deer, you can take him out, man. You can take out that whole group. Actually, please do. Mr. Deerslayer, thank you so much. Let's see. So, breaking, Barron Trump just ordered a mega yacht worth $500 million after the biggest crash in crypto. Amazing, right? Look at this thing. So Barron Trump just ordered that. No, I'm kidding. I don't think this is true. I think it was fake news, but it's funny. This thing is amazing. There's one lucky kid. You're late, Saint. What? Catch me up. So Andrew Tate has this video. He says leverage trading is satanic. You guys want to watch it? It's 5 minutes long. I haven't watched it yet. You guys want to watch it? Or should we come back? Wolf is the very bass voice of crypto. Thanks, HW. I suppose it sounds better in person. What I miss. What did you miss? Well, you missed that I was shilling our Telegram group because I had posted this in the Telegram on September 20th. I posted that exactly. I said exactly what happened. I said something soon should take out all the leverage. Massive upside awaits, but climb has to happen with some fear. So definitely be in the Telegram group at St. Wolf Vision and the Instagram St. Wolf 369, where we're going to share all the alpha going forward. All the alpha is going to be in there. All right, so people are really pissed at Donald Trump, okay? Just posted. What, is this real? Did Donald Trump really say this? No, he didn't. Don't worry about China. It'll all be fine. Nah, there's no way he puts that. So people are really pissed, right? There's a ton of inside trading that happened. A lot of people there was somebody who had a $200 million mega short that was put in 30 minutes before the crash. 30 minutes before, okay? Of course, people knew about it. Are those exchanges? Is that people they knew? And it was a wallet, by the way, the one that put in the $200 million short. The wallet that it came from was holding Bitcoin since 2011. So maybe it's an exchange. Maybe it's CZ. Maybe it's somebody, a government official on the inside who's been around for a long time. We don't know. We don't know. Crazy stuff. And then, okay, and then this came in just now from Allcoin Gordon. He says, an insider who made $191 million from shorting BTC just minutes before Trump's tariff announcement has just opened another short on Bitcoin worth $161 million. Does he know something? So this guy's opened another mega short just now. Okay. Now, this maybe ties in with what I was explaining in the video earlier about we don't know the extent of the damage. Now, remember, this happened on Friday. So it's very easy for us to say, like, cool, leverage is out of the system. Now we can just go up. Because they know we can't get more information until Tuesday, which is why you see everything pumping again. Everyone's, there's going to be a lot of revenge trading. A lot of people want to get back. But maybe you have to entertain the fact that there could be more. There could be more. Or a worst case scenario, that's the top. That 126 was the top. And I'm going to give you the case why that could be possible. Even though I want to believe that October and November are going to be bullish, I have to look at what evidence is being put in front of me right now, right? I have to look at that. I can't put my head in the sand, all right? So this guy's taken out, the same guy who made the $200 million, he's put out another massive short, okay? We can listen to this.
Hit out at President Donald Trump's latest tariffs on Chinese goods, accusing the U.S. on Sunday of what it called double standards.
Awesome.
In a report by state broadcaster CCTV, the Chinese Commerce Ministry also defended its curbs on exports of rare earth elements and equipment, but stopped short of imposing new levies on U.S. products. The revived trade tensions have rattled Wall Street, worried foreign companies reliant on China's rare earths, and could derail a summit between Trump and Chinese President Xi Jinping, tentatively planned for later this month. Sunday's statement was Beijing's first direct response to Trump's move on Friday to slap extra 100% tariffs on China's US-bound exports and new export controls on critical software. In the lengthy social media post, Trump had accused Beijing of suddenly raising trade tensions after an uneasy tariff truce was reached 6 months ago between the world's two largest economies. In an equally lengthy statement, China's Commerce Ministry said its export controls on rare earth elements came after a series of U.S. measures since bilateral talks last month. Beijing pointed to the U.S. adding Chinese companies to a trade blacklist and port fees on China-linked ships as examples. It did not explicitly connect these U.S. actions to its export curbs on rare earth elements, however. It said the restrictions are driven by concern over the military application.
So we are in a tariff war, okay? And I said this on Friday. I said this tariff war is happening. Now, how much of it is manufactured? How much of it is real? Well, we don't know. When we look at Polymarket has put the odds of 100% tariff going into effect on November 1st at only 26%. So people are betting that it is a bluff, that he's playing hard, and that they will back off it come November. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine at this point. Cindy Lou says, how can we fuss about insider trading with stocks and then it's okay for them to wreck people? It's wrong and it costs people to do themselves in. Well, it is wrong, but they can do it and they can get away with it and they will keep doing it. It's an insider's game, if you haven't noticed yet, in crypto, a lot of it, where people like us are in the dark. The best we can do is read charts and understand psychology and how markets work. I don't know about whom, not ruling it. But, at the end of the day, the market makers are in charge for sure. So maybe we'll come back to Mr. Andrew Tate there. Move from bits to atoms. Eric Trump buys the dips tweets. Precede 2025 crypto crashage and spiral viral memes. Oh, man. Okay, so this is this guy Weimar. So shout out to DeFi Weimar. So he did this whole chart where he charted when Eric Trump tweets and what happens. Is he gonna be the new Kramer? All right. Funny, not funny. Come on, let's this is painfully funny. Painfully funny. Okay, let's look. Let's look at these. So he says Eric Trump says buy the dips on February 25th. And then we had an epic fucking crash. I mean, epic, okay? And then, let me say it again. Eric Trump says, buy the dips. That was on the 17th. What do? We dumped. And we pumped up. And we had a little dump. And then Eric said, buy the dip, because the dip. And then the dip kept dipping. That was on August 25th. The dip kept dipping for a long time. And then what did we do? We finally made it back up. Made another high. Finally, triple top. Eric Trump, once again, buy the dips. Saturday, the 27th of September. And remember, I posted that tweet in the Telegram on September 20th. I wrote, as you saw, that all the leverage would be taken out, which is this thing. This is what I wrote on September 20th. On September 27th, where'd it go? Come here, buddy. On the 27th, a week later, Eric Trump writes, buy the dips. A week after that, or 10 days after that, this crash begins. And it's pretty epic. Now, structurally, this is really interesting. This is interesting because structurally, we could be okay. But I have to mention that we just don't know what the damage is yet. Okay, we wiped out. We have to remember that we wiped out everybody. Almost every, except for pulsechain. Like we were all unaffected. You saw our charts; they're great in DeFi over here. And remember, I've been telling you guys for a long time that catalysts are coming. Catalysts are going to come that are going to send people over here, which is why I came over here, because I'm predicting that exact thing to happen. This is really funny. Eric Trump's buy the dip curse. Come back to this. What's this? October 3rd. Oh, he tweeted again by the dips on October 3rd. Yeah. So they're definitely getting rich off this, but there's no laws saying they can't yet, right? It's crazy, man. Fucking crazy. Here's a quick refresh. Everybody stay calm. Smash the like button, everybody. So, what's the deal here? What is the deal? Well, you've broken trust. Not that there ever was trust with exchanges, but you've destroyed $20 billion, and you've made the exchanges and the politicians that much richer. Okay, that's why I'm telling you guys, stay in cores, all right? Right now. Or here on pulsechain at the very least, right? Now, Richard Hart has been tweeting as well about this, okay? You know, he just posted this, La Dip, okay? ETH on this chart went down to 3,100. It's now at 4,100. What a dip. Now, this is a little video where I don't think we'll watch the whole thing, but Richard Hart just posted this earlier, and he wrote, he posted, I didn't even see this one. Okay, he wrote, trading is death 16 hours ago. Now, I don't think trading is death. I think leverage trading can be death, okay? And you need to know what you're doing, all right? Let's get out of here. All right, I hope everybody feels better. Let's listen to what he has to say about trading is death.
You're very again the idea of trading, aren't you? You're very much
lose all your money.
Buy and
you will lose all your money. Trading is death.
And why is that?
Well, it's a zero-sum game with a middleman. So this guy thinks the price is going to go up. This guy thinks the price is going to go down. Middle guy is like, haha, let me get these two idiots to try and take their money from each other. Oh, look, they're fighting each other. Look, they're betting against each other. And the middle guy is like, thank you. Bid-ask spread, thank you. Fees, thank you. Liquidations, yes, give me some more. Oh, you know what? How do I multiply the house advantage against you? I'll give you leverage. I'll let you trade more money than you have. Now I make money even faster. Now you're going to get wrecked even quicker. Oh, look. Oh, they're all dead. So huge website, eToro. Ads everywhere. Top of the website, 67% of people lose money with us.
Yeah.
People still do it. You're like, hey, guys, guess what? You sign up here. You're going to lose your money. Says it right there. Why are you doing it? Why you keep doing it? Oh, because you think the odds don't apply to you. You think you're better. Okay. They do apply to you. You're not better than anybody. So it's like the only people that get rich in crypto are founders and buy and holders.
Founders and holders. He's right. He's right. And you want to hold good core assets
You're very again the idea
that have nothing to do with gambling or trading. Okay? It's important. All right. Now, I think trading is good if you know what you're doing, if you understand, but leverage trading is a whole nother beast. It's a whole, and that's what happened to everybody. Everyone who was holding spot, by the way, who was 1x leverage, which is just a spot position, was not wiped out. Maybe if somebody had 1.5, even if you had 1.5 with a move like that, you were probably wiped out. If you had any leverage on an exchange anywhere, you were wiped out probably with that. That's why we got to $20 billion. So if you were just holding spot, you were fine. If you were trading regularly and doing those moves at spot consistently, you did fine. But as soon as you added leverage to that, that was it, man. You really, really got to know what you're doing. I know a few leverage traders that closed their position a little while ago. And like I said in the post, once again, to reiterate, people who understand these markets know that something was coming, right? Like, once again, I wrote this September 20th. I didn't know when it was going to come, but I could tell from being in these markets for a long time and being through cycles. I bought Bitcoin in 2013. I've been around for a little bit. I knew that this was about the time that something was going to take out all the leverage, okay? But a lot of people don't know. They're greedy, they're dumb, they want to rush, and that's it, you know? But if you were just holding your spot, you would have been fine. Now, he posted this 15 hours ago. We can hear a little bit of it.
Today, I'd like to tell you why gambling sucks and poker sucks and video games suck. So, in this world, we have a ton of really complex problems. Problems so complicated that by the time you die, much of them will go unanswered. To take a world like that, where we have so many good competitions to be had with nature, and abstract and replace our natural competition against nature with a competition against other people, well, it's much less exciting. If you're able to compete against reality and solve a problem, discover something, invent something, that type of discovery lasts throughout the ages, a lasting testament to your existence in this world. Whereas the competitions that you have in silly made-up things versus other people are much less challenging target than this giant world of energy and mass that we live in. So let me give you an example. If you go on television or you watch live streams on the internet, there's a lot of people, intelligent people, that are very, very good at playing poker. And poker is a game that has a limited number of players and a limited number of skills that you learn, which are exportable to other areas. You could say that you learn some game theory. You could say that you learn how to read other people and control communication, being able to tell bluff from real, reading intention, perhaps empathy, feeling into the types of responses and feelings other people would have when they get certain sets of hands.
Okay, I'm going to continue playing this more because I love what he's talking about. I haven't seen this video yet, but it ties into so much, not just what's going on, but of a lot of projects that are on pulsechain right now that don't honor the values that Richard Hart, that are important to Richard Hart, right? And I think he posted this for a very clear reason. I think he's giving an ominous warning. I think he's letting you know what he's going to value and how possibly he might move the chain going forward. Okay, so I'm going to play the rest of this for sure. So hope you guys are liking this. What's up, Funding Jim? How are you? Oh, you did? You retweeted it? Cool, man. I haven't leverage traded since doing Forex. Yo, I'm going to drop a link. I don't know. I'll send it over to you, Gary, but I'll put it in the Telegram for a second as well. I'll play this. Funding Jim, I saw you talk with earlier today. You were speaking with Ben Cohen. That was cool. That was an interesting discussion. I enjoyed listening to that. And join the show. There is a link out for you if you want.
The problem is that if you were to isolate that behavior to just an island, right? If you were to say there's 7 people in the world and they all live on this island, and those 7 people are going to play a card game with each other, and all they're going to do is play that card game, well, nothing would get done. They would all starve to death because you need to eat, you need to take care of your family, you need to go to the bathroom, right? There's more to life than playing card games. And it's much worse than it sounds. You're not only getting very good at something which doesn't have a benefit outside of it, but even worse than that, you're harming all the people that you play with. It's not even a zero-sum game. It's a less than zero-sum game because the house takes its rake, it takes its percentage, and you had the transition time to get there. You occupy your consciousness with reading books and watching other excellent people play and theorizing about new strategies. The game doesn't end when you leave the table. It doesn't start when you get to the table. And the costs and influence that it has on your life go far beyond the place in which you play, to the point where there's some people that play at home and they'll play 10 hands at once across 10 screens or, 10 windows in the same screen. And it just occupies more and more of their consciousness to the point where they're really just bad computers, right? Or I'm going to stick with bad computers. I mean, you could say you could be a great computer if you're able to win money at poker, but if you're tactically right at strategically the wrong thing, it's worse, right? So a computer that would be very good at masturbating all day, it could be the world's best masturbating computer, but other than maybe the viewing rights that you could sell, it's not really useful to the rest of the world, right? So, point 1, fight the real world, discover real things, have real challenges in reality instead of fake abstracted challenges versus people. Because it's a less advertised path that less people take, there's much more profit in it. The more people that do a thing, the less money there is in that thing, and poker's one of those, right? It's not hard to play poker. There's guidebooks on it. How many real guidebooks are there on how to live real life? There's not that many, right? So, what guidebook do you know that tells you what kind of girl you should date, what job you should work, whether you should wear briefs or boxers, how to get better sleep? You kind of got to read 20 books to do that, right? So, 1, do not spend your time competing with people. Spend your time competing against the reality of the world that we live in. Discover new things, right? Don't discover how to just take someone else's money. 2, it's not a zero-sum game. It's destructive. The money that you win came out of someone else's pocket, and that person's probably not very happy. You're, to some degree, harming that person. 3rd part, when you win at poker, you actually lose. Probably should have put that as part 1. The person that loses at poker no longer has their life consumed by this stupid game and has the opportunity to go and interact with the real world and do things that are actually rare and actually valuable, that have lasting value. Whereas the person that wins at poker or wins at the stock market or wins at any other game versus other people, they have harmed someone on the other side, the loser. They have usually not invented something new, made lasting change in the world. I guess you could call it competition masturbation. Like, masturbating feels good, but it's not that productive, right? And winning games feels good, but it's not that productive. It feels really good, by the way. Winning a fight, winning a game, winning any competition, at least to the masculine energy, is very, very, very consuming. So don't compete versus other people. Compete versus the real world. You make a lot more money. Realize that whatever it is that you get good at is going to consume a lot of hours out of your life. And so you be very careful what you choose to get good at and what your hobbies are, because those hobbies are what you're likely to go into for a profession, or it'll influence the people that you meet. It'll influence, who you have kids with, right? You're going to enjoy the things that you get good at. So feel free to choose something you don't like when you start, but is valuable and pays well, right? And then once you get good at it, now it's fun. It may not have been fun when you started. I mean, how fun would learning the violin or, learning to dance be when you suck at it? It's probably terrible. Or God forbid you learn to play the drums in a small house. Your family's probably really going to dislike you, probably forever, but at least when you start out and you suck, right? So compete versus the real world, not fake competitions versus people. Realize that whatever you hobby at is going to influence the connections you make in your life, the relationships you have in your life. It's going to take over your consciousness. There's more valuable in doing the things that less people are doing, usually, because our value is in indirect proportion to the availability of a thing. So the more common a thing is, the less valuable it is. And the less common it is, the more valuable, usually, right? And realize you're hurting someone on the other side of the transaction, and realize that losing can actually be winning if it gets you to go do something productive instead of staring at a screen all day, doing something which doesn't feed anyone, doesn't build anything, doesn't help anyone. Shifting zeros and ones around on the stock market, or shifting poker chips around a table. These are not the highest and best uses of the most intelligent people on the planet. I know there's value in the accurate pricing of securities, but you could say that there's too many smart people staring at screens trying to figure out how to screw other smart people out of their money. And at some point, it's really not healthy for the ecosystem that we live in. It's much better that we have less people trying to shave fractions of a second or fractions of a millisecond off of front-running a trade and high frequency trading. And if all those people would stop doing that mental masturbation, human competition thing, and switch into productive things that influence the real world, discovery, you can still compete, start a business. You're still competing, but you're competing not in some fake abstraction that was created by a man with man-made rules, but participating in the real world that makes all the stuff we use and decides how people spend all the hours of their life. If you start a business and you employ people, you literally decide how these people will live over a third of their life. That's huge. I mean, that's absolutely huge. I think that to have that responsibility to control the lives of so many by being an employer is a far better and higher calling than finding a way to take money from some poor other bastard that may have got dealt a bad hand or may not have the same skills as you. He's the guy that actually gets to go and work and replace that money and make the world a better place, while you're just sitting around as the winner figuring out how to screw more people out of their money. It's not that wholesome. It's not that great. And if you look at the Fortune 400 richest people, they're not poker players. They make their money doing other things, because doing other things pays far better than winning a game or playing a game.
Wow. What do you guys think of that? Is that the real Richard?
Today I'd like to tell you why.
I mean, I would love to see this version of Richard come back for sure. Like, absolutely. What does he say?
That was part of the real attraction.
What's
the launch really is his videos that didn't get as much views and things like that until basically a cryptocurrency came out where people wanted to speculate. And once they wanted to speculate, then they started to see some of his 2016 content at the very beginning of his YouTube channel. So if you look at his YouTube channel, you see maybe like 10 videos. And then also if you look at, I think it might still be up on YouTube. It's a different content creator. They made, I think if you look for Hex Rewind 2020, or there's a second video, Hex Rewind 2021. It starts out, I mean, it's really well done, extremely well done, and it basically puts together some of the Richard, in that video. It really begins with that video also. I did say something about the Andrew Tate. Andrew Tate made his tweet that you were going to talk about, which was the satanic one. He said,
Well, hang on.
but basically it's almost identical to what Richard. Richard
really?
reposted this video that you just watched.
Yeah.
But it's almost identical language. It's obviously it's more aggressive and more testosterone laden with Tate's way of communicating, but it's almost identical, and it makes me think he really has seen that content. So if you do play that, then I'll listen to that too.
Okay, amazing. That's really interesting. It's funny he posted this too, because the gentleman, I mean, Firewhale, he's come on the show really quick. I've only talked to him like I think once very briefly, but he's been kind of on full attack on Richard lately, because I guess his whole thing is gambling and casinos. So he's like, you lose, and I'm not a big fan of this. He's literally telling you like, hey, like these are the values that are important, and then we have people who, and this gentleman even has like a badge, and he's just full on attacking him. It just makes no sense at all whatsoever. Like it's so illogically twisted, I don't know. What's your take on that? What do you think about that?
I haven't really been paying attention to the spaces that have the same people. I don't know if that Firewall is the same person that launched the X game and developed the stuff that's going on and being talked about right now. I haven't really paid attention. I've been traveling a bit this month, but I again, a lot of the attraction to Richard and the before there was Hex, Richard was going to launch a different cryptocurrency that had to do with fluid dynamics. It was like CFD or something like that.
Okay.
So it was just basically a big mathematical, something that was scientific, very scientific, and something that he wanted to put a cryptocurrency token attached to. And then later, this whole Hex development and Telegram and things like that were basically the replacement, because I think CFD or CPD or whatever it was called, was going to be too mathematically hard to do, and Hex became the focus. But like that's really what a lot of the early Telegram, early Twitter, early YouTube content was all about, was Richard's, improve by basically taking on, challenges of running a business, learning, like I think he made videos about like top hats and how you can become an expert in something that you like. There's the internet enables you to basically sell after you have knowledge about anything. And he used the example of top hats. And that's one of the reasons that like that iconic, his top hat video, and a lot of us, wore top hats at, like at the annual,
oh really,
or whatever. I think it was like the big payday event and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
It was basically because Richard's, language, especially in cryptocurrency, was so different than the ICO leverage, central exchange narrative. It wasn't aggressive cyberpunk, but it was more like you can participate in crypto and then go on and do other things while crypto cooks in the background. It was kind of like be productive and that kind of messaging, and that's what a lot of OG like Hexicans really were attracted to.
Nice. Okay. I think that he's letting us know, not just that this stuff is bad, obviously that pulsechain's good, but he's probably not having good pleasure with some of the way certain entities are what they're promoting on the chain, right? It might be tough for him to see that. I'm guessing. I don't know if he's coming out with all these multiple posts.
Yeah, the good messaging. I think he one of the things he said.
A fucking fantastic day.
He said stuff which made, like some of the things that kind of stuck around and got memed were like you might not be Michael Jordan. It was like Who's the coach for Michael Jordan that was of the Bulls?
I don't know.
He was a super. Yeah, I forgot his name, but he was basically the coach for
You're very again the idea of
superstar. I didn't hear that, but yeah. So he's saying something like, even a homeless man can tell you to brush your teeth. He said something like that. It's like, the good advice is still the good advice, no matter what the source. So like a lot of the retweeting I think right now is like, Richard really does have a lot of value that people can look at the advice and take the advice for what it is versus like who it comes from. It is kind of like a humble thing to post it again in some weird way, I guess.
So he posted this as well, a couple hours before the other ones we looked at. He says, shout out to all you scumbags out there profiting and promoting human suffering by getting people to margin trade. You know how risky it is, and you know it has few survivors financially. Some of you are even so stupid that you step yourself into the same trap you set for others. Take a mental note of who exactly is profiting from this horror and realize that they're willing to feed you into the meat grinder for a few bucks. Crypto is full of absolute subhuman trash, pretending to be better than you, but the main characters keep changing, usually because their lies catch up with them. There's a better way. Listen to those who actually have your best interests at heart and actually care about you, those that were right when so many others were wrong. So, yeah, I mean, he really hates leverage trading and gambling and things like that, and that's something I've known about him since I got into it. I always remember him talking about that, and yeah, definitely inspired me to come over here.
Yeah, play that Tate thing. It's kind of segues into Tate for a moment.
You want to watch the Tate video?
Yeah, if you go to either my Twitter or yeah, that's the same thing. Just play that.
Study money, and they study the Federal Reserve, and they understand that all the money's made up, and the interest rates and inflation's out of control.
Start it over.
Leverage trading is never going to make you rich. It defies one of the very important laws of money. People study money, and they study the Federal Reserve, and they understand that all the money's made up, and the interest rates and inflation's out of control, and money printer goes burr, and Satoshi Nakamoto, and the blockchain, and the ledger, and there's only 21 million, and they study crypto, and they study all these things, but they do not study a law of money, which I can promise you is absolutely true because I've lived it. Money has karmic forces applied to it. There is karma when money is involved. Perhaps because money literally moves the world. If you believe in any form of fate, if you believe in any form of karma in the universe, if you believe in God, then you must believe that these forces are attached to money. I promise you, if you make easy money, or you make fast money, or you make bad money, you regret it. I'm talking from personal experience. I grew up in Luton on a council estate. I was a drug dealer. I had a webcam company. I've done all these things. Every single time I made bad money, I regretted it. You end up paying the price. Not just jail, not just dying. You might break your ankle. You'd be surprised how karma ties into money. But if you make money helping people, you don't regret it. I am rich now because I help people. I'm the largest online masculine self-help person that exists on the planet. I have a school that helps people make money online, university.com. I help the world, and that's how I have become and stay rich. There is no negative karma with me helping the world. I've made lots of money and nothing bad has happened. But you are trying to take money and turn it into more money without helping anyone. And the karmic laws of money will not allow that to happen. Why does Bitcoin all of a sudden drop $20,000 in half a minute and wipe you out and then go back up $15,000 more? You can blame Binance. You can say it's market manipulation, or you can understand that karma just won't let you win with leverage trading. It's never going to let you win because you're not helping anybody. Guys, you have to understand something. There's no such thing as everybody taking numbers on a screen, gambling those numbers on a screen, and everybody getting more numbers on their screen that they can use to buy real things in the real world. You have to have something that backs this whole bubble. You have to have something real. You can't just have everyone moving numbers around and everyone getting rich. You need factories. You need people doing real work. You need energy in. You need real things. builders, because when you build, you help people. The reason I am rich is because I have built a school that helps people. When you have lots of money, you need to think, how do I help people with this money? I promise, if you have 10 million in the bank and you think, I want to help people, what can I help people do with my money? I guarantee you'll stay rich. And there's nothing wrong with charging them money for the help. I'm going to help people, they're going to pay me, and because they pay me, I can now help more people. This is a positive karmic loop. There's nothing wrong with charging for your services. You don't have to be charitable, but you do have to help someone. You can't make money without helping people. If you make it, you'll regret it, and most of the time, God won't even give it to you because he doesn't want to punish you for having it. There's no such thing as leverage trading. It's not real. Nobody is getting fed. No food is grown. Nothing is being produced in a factory. No house was built that a family lives in. No service was provided to an old lady that's dying. No care was given. Nothing happened. You just put numbers on a screen and got more numbers back on the screen. And you think that the karmic laws of the universe are going to allow you to get rich from that? You didn't benefit anybody. You didn't learn any lessons along the way. At least if you start a business, you learn taxes, how to manage people, how to manage stress, punctuality, how to handle a meeting. You learn things when you run a business. What do you learn when you leverage trade? Nothing. God won't let you get rich that way. I've seen so many people try different versions of get rich quick or let me just turn numbers into more numbers. They all end up either shooting themselves in the head or destitute. All. The only people I know who have money and enjoy their money and enjoy their life are people who help others. People always say, I wish my dream is to get rich and be unknown. That's because you're trying to make money the shady way, the snaky way. So you're trying to hide from your own karma. Everyone knows who I am. Everyone knows I'm rich. All the police are after me. I still drive Bugattis. I still have Yescos. I still fly on jets. I still have a yacht. How am I still rich when all the government's trying to take my money? Because karma, they can't get it. They're the bad guys. I'm the good guy, and the good guy wins in the end. If you got liquidated yesterday, it's a lesson. And the lesson for you is next time you get some money, you need to take that money and find a way to charge others for your service. And your service has to be something that helps them. That is the lesson. If you continue to think that you can just move numbers around on a screen without benefiting humanity, without helping anyone else, and God is not going to snatch that money from you, then you're a fool. Because it always is going to end the exact same way unless you're prepared to help somebody else.
Wow, that was amazing. And it's very, very, very true. I know that a lot of people were unalived recently, but, you know, it's really a lot of people leverage trading, and they're trying to extract money. You know, it's a competition. It's not just, you know, numbers on the screen. I mean, you are playing. It's player versus player. You're playing against all the other players. Men, it's to be honest, it is a modern version of combat. Okay, now he's a physical fighter. He fights in real life, but it is a way to combat other men virtually, right? Without losing your physical life. You lose your capital, right? You're fighting with capital. So I do see it as a modern version of warfare, but it is true. It is a type of combat sport, really, right? And they're not providing any value, but you know, are actual people that combat sport, are they providing value?
Well, it's interesting. He was saying something about, and it's really what Richard said in the video you played earlier also was, you know, you basically become a bad computer. Like, you know, now we are in algorithms and obviously the mechanisms of how price drops so quickly, you know, all of the leverage between Hyperliquid and Aster and all these other things that aren't even holding spot. You know, they're basically bets, you know, on numbers are going to move up or move down, right? So it's not only chart stuff. It is really, you know, what makes crypto anything different whatsoever than any other ticker. You could have a degenerate marketplace, which is saying, you know, this person's going to go through the speeding zone, or I don't know. There's all kinds of stuff that you could just like bet on traffic as it goes by and says, I think that the fourth car is going to be going 50 miles per hour or whatever it might be. And all I'm saying is Tate, he has his format, and Richard had his format in 2016, which was that video that you played. He had, Richard had his communication style in 2020, which is basically the whole launch of Hex, and then later on with pulsechain and pulsex. Like the narrative is, the advice to the audience is still valid, no matter what you think about Black Shirt Richard versus today Richard versus what's the near future Richard. Who cares? The advice is still the advice. If you're going, we levered real estate, and that in the big great financial reset they call it. But basically, we leveraged real estate to the hilt in the United States, especially. And then when you have a market collapse in real estate, like COVID lockdowns and things like that, then the prices tank and people lose their shirt. Same sort of thing. Like we live in a levered world, really. Yeah, so it's an interesting comparison of Richard, which again I really appreciate that he retweeted that. I hope more people see that. I saw he was making some other tweets which was basically like how underviewed his good advice was in 2016, 17, 18. He was making some retweets, I think, of some like old content or whatever. But it's still valid. Like the advice can come from a superstar mega billionaire and be the exact same words, and you might value it because of who it is or who said it. But it can also come from a homeless man that's been down on his luck for 20 years and still the same words. And it's really the audience that needs to pick out from the words what means to their own life. So I think that Tate, both Tate and Hart in this moment were really pretty much saying the same thing.
Yeah, I agree. Absolutely agree. I think they were sharing a similar sentiment. And I think that we're going to see a version of Richard Hart come back that is going to surprise people. So I'm quite bullish on pulsechain. I'm very bullish on pulsechain. I just don't fully know his timeline. Obviously, it's tied to Ethereum. But from these posts that he's putting out, he's sharing with you things that he's passionate about, just the way he posted about it, letting you know pretty much what happened. Same things he was saying in 2021, right? For FTX and everything collapsed too. He was talking about similar things as well. And
you said it. I mean, you've been paying attention to markets outside of crypto for so long, but you said it also, even in your Telegram tweet that you put out earlier, which was, you have everything has a big leverage event, right? You have to wash out, whether it's holders, faith, shakeout, whatever you want to call the phrase. But basically, when leverage is in the system, it's got to get knocked out, and it can be called a black swan. But basically, it's still human nature. Human nature is to try to lever because of whether it's greed or fear of catching up, FOMO, whatever you want to call it. But that has to be washed out, and that's what's happened recently.
Yeah. So everyone just tuning in right now, what's up, everybody out there on X, YouTube, chat? How's everybody doing? Hope nobody was hurt in this or damaged. I'm sure most of you guys weren't, but smash the like button. This was just a post I put on September 20th in the Telegram group. So make sure you're in the Telegram so you can see this alpha. I pretty much told everybody that something soon should take out all the leverage. And, I was 2 weeks too early, but sometimes these messages are better when they come a little too early than too late, right? I knew it was coming. I knew we were at that point in the cycle. We hadn't had one yet. And I'm like, okay, I could feel it. I'm like, they're going to take out all the leverage. So this is the kind of things you get in the Telegram. But as I said as well, I'm going to start posting more in the Instagram because I realized a lot of people are stalking the Telegram, but they're not watching the show. So it makes sense for you guys that watch the show to get the alpha first. So I'm going to start posting stories that are going to have the really juicy alpha first on Instagram. So there it is at the bottom, St. Wolf 369. So make sure you follow there. Let's see. What's this, St. Wolf? Let's refresh this.
It's interesting. Like you said, something also like, is this a revenge pump? But the Binance actually, or BNB has done pretty stable on this climb. It's back to 1,300. I really didn't dip as far as like a lot of the others. And then also I see Bitcoin's 115 and Ethereum right now is like almost 4,200. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what plays out over. I was on a space earlier today. There's about 2,000 people in it. Was a speaker with Benjamin Cohen, and you know he's obviously a big Bitcoin maxi mostly.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's interesting to see how it's going to play out. You know, I think there'll be a lot of spaces that happen tomorrow. You know, a lot of people, all ears are going to be trying to either listen to influencers or whatever's going on tomorrow. So it might be just audience harvesting, but we'll see how it plays out.
Less monetary ahimsa. So Richard Hart posted this. So, you know, this could be the bullish take, of course. Hopefully this was a flush out event and now we can move up, which is my bullish take on it, which, you know, I also wrote in the Telegram message very clearly. I said massive upside awaits, but climb is to happen with fear. And is that what this is what it would look like? Now everybody's scared. Leverage is taken out. Longs are shot. Now are we going to pop up above the all-time high for Ethereum, which is what we're all waiting for? Ethereum needs to get above 48.50 and close, preferably on a weekly at this point. I don't think nobody's going to believe a fucking daily close at this point. We need to have a weekly close above 48.50, and then it's on, okay? And we're at 37.45, so we're not quite close anymore. You know, we've broken some structure. We're below some resistances. Hopefully this is time to move up. We've seen this happen before in certain patterns. Richard Hart circling this first one where we had a big collapse and then we moved up, and then we've now had another one, and ideally should we move up into this area where we go above 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, 8, 9. You know, these are all very, very reasonable targets. These are quite conservative, actually. I do think we could even go much higher. But is that what comes next? I really hope it does. I really hope that October is very bullish. I do think that there's a couple issues I want to show you, and I talked about it earlier about we don't know the damage yet, and we're not going to know until Tuesday, which concerns me a lot because they did it purposely on Friday at the time they did, and we're not going to know what actually happened until Tuesday, right? Because $20 billion isn't all personal. There could be institutions, there could be huge trading firms, and these firms can all be collateralized with each other in ways that we don't understand right now, and we're not going to find out until Tuesday. So we could have another cascade of liquidations if something is broken, and we just don't know about it yet because it's the fucking weekend, okay? And people are just like drinking themselves into oblivion because they know what they're about to tell the world on Tuesday. We don't know. So that's a big thing we have to worry about because this wick down isn't the same as the one that happened here in July, okay? This is actually $20 billion of traders and wallets and accumulators and exchange or whoever firms completely liquidated, okay? So this was a very, very serious break in what's going on. Before I get into that Bitcoin chart, break that down, somebody did just post this about Eric Trump.
This dude is Steve Witkoff. This dude is Eric Trump. Wait, I think that's an old picture. Yes, this is Eric Trump now. Eric and Zaki are business partners in a crypto business. This one, World Liberty Financial. The Trump family owns 60% of this business and gets 75% of the net revenue from the business. This is Eric and Zach on stage in Dubai yesterday, where it was announced that the UAE's ruling family will use $2 billion of Trump family crypto to invest in another crypto company, Binance, which incidentally recently paid a $4.3 billion fine for violating money laundering laws, but that's another story. Now, it's speculated that the Trump family is likely to make, get this, $75 million from this deal yesterday while doing virtually nothing. And if the UAE's rulers wanted to invest in Binance, they could have done so with cash and didn't have to pay the Trump family all of that money. But wait, that's not the end of the story. This is Zach's daddy, Steve Witkoff, who is Donald Trump's friend and just coincidentally happens to be America's special envoy to the Middle East. So the fathers of these two knuckleheads are making U.S. policy with the Middle East. And here's another picture of Steve Witkoff.
All right. I thought it was going to be specifically only about crypto, but...
Dude's just a hater.
He's just a hater. Yeah. So sorry about that. I was just curious what that was going on there.
Well, it's interesting, this narrative, which seems pretty accurate, like looking for buyers of U.S. dollar, treasuries. Who's the buyers?
Mm-hmm.
And so the stablecoin narrative has risen a bit with the, new appetite, so to speak. And I see a lot of people making posts about, if you have a couple $1,000,000, then, put it into something like treasuries so that you can live off the interest. I've been hearing that, and it's been, a normalized, quote unquote, passive way to retire since I was a teenager. If you could only get $1 million and live off of 5% at $50,000 when I was a teenager in the 80s, you'd be like, hey, that's great. That's a great plan. What people don't realize also is that dollar capital, as in the form of a dollar, is being debased through inflation. So like, even though you're making 5 or 10% in interest, most of the people that consider to do that, even if they're buying treasuries, they're just basically maybe keeping up with inflation and maybe maintaining some level of their purchasing power, but most likely not, because when they are earning that interest, they're still paying tax on it. It's an income tax. So like these narratives around like holding stable coins during a bear market, having 200 billion or 300, I don't even know what the number of billions of stable coins that exist right now that are minted between Tether and the others. But basically to have all of that pushed into crypto as a new buying appetite for dollars, that's part of like the marketing of crypto at this moment,
right?
More so than the cyberpunk parallel or replacement for dollar control of government. I don't actually believe that crypto or gold or real estate or anything other than basically big guns changes anything about government. So kind of it's an interesting narrative to see what's happening with crypto marketing.
We're going to look at the Bitcoin chart, and I'm going to tell you guys my concerns, okay? And here's the thing, man. I believe in the cycles. That's why I've told you guys, like, I still believe in the 4-year cycle, and we're at that point. The 4-year cycle is technically done, okay? I've been saying for 2 years, I'm like, it's going to be October 2025. That should be the top. October 2025 should be the top, because that's how cycles time out, okay? And we're there. We're there. And every bull market has ended with a liquidation event. That's a fact. Okay? These are facts. This is not my opinion. And I look at charts. So when it comes down to some of this stuff, I'm looking at charts. I'm running the numbers here, okay? So I just need to show you guys this. And, some of you guys probably aren't going to like what I'm about to show you. You're not going to like it. And I'm sorry. I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm just here to show you what the charts are telling me, and I'm reporting them to you. That's all I'm going to do. And then, I still want to believe that we're about to rip higher. But I have my concerns, okay? And I'm going to just show you what those are really quick. So smash the like button if you guys are enjoying this alpha. And, of course, come to the Telegram at St. Wolf Vision. And, of course, go to the Instagram now, St. Wolf 369, because that's where a ton of the alpha is going to be. Deerslayer says he senses some Trump derangement syndrome. Let's save this here. Cool. So let's go to this chart. I want to show you guys. All right, here's the Bitcoin chart. I just drew a line for this bull run starting down here from 15,000. We're up here at 115,000 right now. Okay, so it's been a pretty epic run. We're about, let's say we've done almost an 8x on this run. And that's good. That's great. It's been phenomenal, right? If you were in Bitcoin. If you weren't holding alts, you did great. But so I told you guys, first of all, my concerns were with psychologically about, not psychologically, but that we don't know the extent of the damage yet. Okay, I think that $20 billion being wiped out is not a joke. And when the zombie apocalypse happened, it was here. Okay, we dropped from 10,000 to 3,600. Now, 1.5 billion was wiped out during the zombie apocalypse drop. Okay, 1.5 billion. And to give you guys some perspective, that happened here. We were nowhere near an all-time high. The stock market was nowhere near all-time highs. Okay, risk assets were not cranked at that 30 price to earnings. Okay, 30 times price to earnings. Okay, none of that was happening, and we had a massive drop. Liquidity came into the market, and we rocketed up. Okay, great, fantastic, love it. Okay, we've had now a drop of $20 billion, which is happening at a time when everything is at all-time record-breaking highs. Absolutely, that's not even an opinion. Okay. And we don't know the extent of the damage. We just don't know yet. We're not going to know till Tuesday. So that's a concern. But this thing I'm going to show you right now concerns me more than anything. So just watch what I'm going to do. And this is just based off the cycles right in front of me. All right. There's none of my opinion is involved in this. Okay. So Bitcoin, you see the cycle. I'm going to come from the lows to the high. Low to the next high. 1,057 days. Okay. Right there. You guys see that? 1,057 days it took to get from the low in 2015 to the high in 2017. Okay, 2 years later. All right. Let's come over here. Next one. Where's the low? Right here. I could be off by a day, but hopefully get pretty close. And where is it? Is that right? Stretch this out. You can see clearly. Oh, there it is. Okay. Bam. There it is. 1,057 days. From the low in 2017, was it 2018, to the high in 2022 was 1,057 days. Funny, exactly the same. Exactly the same. No difference at all whatsoever. Okay, 1,057 days from the last low to the all-time high. And let's come over here. Let's see. Okay, cool. Let's find the low. We had 15.5-ish, was that? So I'll come over here. Let's grab the low. Is that it? Is it that one? Or was it the second? That's the second one. Okay, hang on. Right there. Let's come over here and right there. What do you see? 1,057 days. Exactly the same. Okay. That is something to take seriously. Okay. Because we look at cycles. We tune out the news, we tune out the bullshit, all the FUD, and we say it's a 4-year cycle. But we know, I've been saying this since all my videos, 2023, that I think the top should be technically around October 2025, which we're in. And it turns out that every cycle lasts 1,057 days exactly. I just showed it to you. I just pulled it from the low to the high. You guys can do it at home on your own chart. And we are at 1,057 days as of 2 days ago. Okay. So could that have been the top? It's been the top the last 2 times. It could be. And I have to take this seriously. Not because I have any bias, but because the chart is telling me that each cycle is 1,057 days and we got one. Now, could this time be different? Yes, it could. But what I look for is probabilities and confluence. Do I have consistencies across other things I'm checking? And well, I have concerns in the sense that, okay, we had 20 billion wiped out. So we have this 1,057 days. And we've got the thing of what I'm telling you is we had a massive wipeout Friday evening. So we do not know the extent of the damage or the collateral damage yet. We're not going to know till Tuesday morning because markets are closed Monday. So we still don't know what's going on there. So that's a concern, right? There's probably more surprises waiting for us possibly. On top of that, everything else sucks. Like we're at all-time highs and risk assets are turning over. So let me leave this Bitcoin chart for just 1 second. I want to show you guys something else here. Hang on, do I need to come back here? Let's open.
Before I forget, when you return, can you return and do the same 1,056 day marks on highly correlated tech-related stocks like Microsoft, Apple, Amazon. Just basically look at those same time points and tell me if you think it's crypto specific that has this 4-year cycle kind of narrative, or if it's tech stock, irregardless of crypto.
Yeah, certainly. If we have time, we'll look at that. I want to show you guys Meta. Meta, I think, is a good way to look at risk assets. Okay. Meta looks like it's breaking down. I have a target down here of 650. I think the top could be in on Meta. I'm not a top caller per se, but I'm just saying, based on Confluence and other things we're looking at, that could this have been a top, because other things look like they also could have topped as well. Meta looks like it's about to fall apart. Let's go to NVIDIA, which is another canary in the coal mine, so to speak. You had this ascending wedge. This has just been gapping up like crazy. We know NVIDIA has just had an incredible run. And by the way, just because our metrics don't say euphoria, trust me, this was euphoria in the stock market. This has been nonstop euphoria in markets. Gary, wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I've been in NVIDIA for like 10 years. So yeah,
so this is
always worked.
Yeah, this has been euphoria. I mean, look at this run nonstop, gapping up nonstop, just gapping up like insane. So if you're holding this, look at these gap ups. They're insane. It's absolute euphoria, going on. And what's happening now? Well, we're falling out of this ascending wedge in a pretty serious way. This is a solid break of structure. I'm not saying it has to be the top. I'm looking for Confluence and other things that might agree with a thesis that could it be a top. We're asking this question, okay? Could we have topped on Bitcoin? Yeah, there's definitely some indicators here. So we looked at NVIDIA, Meta. We can look at, let's look at MicroStrategy, right? That's a big one, right? Where's MicroStrategy? MSTR. And the reason I'm telling you guys is because, it's partly what I do. I can't not tell you this stuff. Like, just like I posted that leverage will be taken out soon and the thing, I'm letting you know that, look, I have to look at this and I have to share it with you. I can't hide it from you and just give you the bullish take. I have to kind of give you guys a full perspective here. These are real issues. Now, MicroStrategy could be an A, B, C. To me, it looks like this looks to me like there's more downside coming on that. Okay. Oh, fuck. Look at the MACD turnover on the monthly. So what is this? This is rarely wrong. And this is an indicator. What happened here when it turned over in 2021? That means that, the bull run was coming to an end, okay? We kind of had a double top. But one thing to keep in mind, and I'm going to give you guys some good news for this, the silver lining is actually quite silver, okay? And I'm going to show you. But we have a serious break here to the negative side on MicroStrategy, which is canary in the coal mine for Bitcoin, okay? It's letting you know that the Bitcoin's run might be over, okay? MicroStrategy is like leverage on Bitcoin, and it looks done. And it looks like it was quite a euphoric run. Like, this is euphoria. This is what euphoria looks like, okay? Let's see. What else might be a good one? What's Google doing? I haven't looked at Google. Oh, geez, look at that. Look at that on Google. Yeah, I mean, could that be a top? I mean, damn, that's wow. That's pretty topish looking. Could be. Let's look at this RSI on the monthly. Well, it didn't get in the green, very similar to what a lot of people say with the Bitcoin. You can see the MACD, though, looks insanely heated up there. So this is a tech stock. Does look like a reversal happening up here, though, too. So that is Google. Now, gold also, look at my target for gold. Almost hit 4,100. Where are we at? We hit 40.60. That's fucking amazing. I should have fucking taken this trade. I had this charted so well. My target was almost perfectly hit. I did this charting for gold, I think in like 2022. Crazy. Now, sometimes gold topping out is a good sign for risk assets, except that risk assets have already been at all-time highs pretty massively. So, and I said before, I've said this multiple times, I said I don't think the indicators they've used in other cycles are going to quite work this time. They're going to have something else in mind, all right? So we might not sense euphoria the same way we have before. It doesn't mean that we didn't have euphoria, okay? Because these institutions are very smart at the way they can distribute the emotion of euphoria. They can distribute it, right? It doesn't have to just follow a Wyckoff or traditional distribution. They can distribute it in really interesting ways. So we have to be aware of that. Now, if I come over to the DJT, we were looking at this before, and I mentioned to you guys that it's falling apart, and it is falling apart. It's falling apart in a very, very bad way, okay? This is the Dow Jones Transportation Index. This is an indicator of the health economy. Now, this is forward-looking, so it's looking out maybe 3 to 6 months because these are huge, massive deliveries and freights and shipping and things like that. So we're going to have issues in a few months. There's no doubt about that. This is letting us know that something bad is coming. It doesn't mean it has to happen tomorrow. So that's what's going to take me to the silver lining, all right? The silver lining is this, is that maybe BTC could be topped out. Like, let's say we take that as a thesis. Okay, BTC's topped out. Fine. What's next for us? By the way, we have 888 people watching. Everybody smash the like button. That's some good luck right there. Love that number. 888. How's everybody doing, by the way? If you guys have any questions, just jump in. I'm probably flying through a lot of this stuff. So the silver lining is that ETH could possibly go on a run. Maybe BTC's done, but what if ETH is about to launch and just have a blow off top? That would possibly mean that some of our alts could go into a few week bull run right now. I mean, a lot can happen with an altcoin, let's say like pulsechain or, you know, even XRP or anything. A lot can happen in 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. All right. And I remember when BTC topped out in 2022, that's when ETH went on an epic bull run into the 4,000s. I remember sitting there watching it happen, like in disbelief, and it was just rocketing up like every day. It was just going straight up. So that could happen again. So we'll go look at ETH BTC ratio, and I'll show you some of the things I've been following for some time. So remember I said to you guys, I said we needed to touch, and I had my target I drew here at 0.033. You can see the scribble over here. Well, guess what? We wicked all the way down to 0.031. We've come back up, and we're at 0.036. So in a way, we've retested this support line that goes all the way back. And as far as I'm concerned, this could initiate a massive move up in Ethereum. It could. It could absolutely do that, okay? Because you can see back in 2021, ETH did a similar thing where it broke out of a bullish W, went up, and then finally came back and did a retest. Okay, it went quite low actually back in 2021. But after that, ETH just went on a rip roar along with most of the altcoins. This is also now broken out of a bullish pattern down here, coming up all the way to 0.044, and it's come back and it's touched support. Could this be the launch pad for ETH and altcoins now? Could it be? It's possible. It is absolutely possible. Now, we did have a lot of alts that went nuts already. We had Binance. We had Aster. We had a few other things that already did a run. Could that have been all we got? Maybe. I have to be open to that too. But I'm hoping, this is my bullish take, and the silver lining is that, okay, if that bear case happens and BTC's topped out, that maybe ETH and alts can go for a run here. Okay. We can go to USDT dominance too. Let's see.
I have a question. When people look at charts, like you said about the tech stock, Dixie, strength of the dollar, S&P, when a market is quote unquote topped out or rolling over to go into a bear market, where does it rotate to? Is it just disappear as money? And then the other narrative is, everything is all-time high. I just watched a tweet about, the cost of retail products, whether it's spandex and toilet paper. And, so basically the cost of everything is up, not just Netflix and Amazon and Apple and crypto is all-time highs. Everything is all-time high.
Yeah. So this is my concern, because when the zombie apocalypse happened, everything was at all-time lows. That's not what's happened right now. A lot of people are saying that, oh, this is just like in 2021, and because we had a liquidation event, this is like, C19, we're about to rip to the upside. Well, I mean, maybe, but things are at all-time, everything is at all-time highs. Everything. There's nothing that isn't, except pulsechain.
Well, it's called the everything bubble. I mean, that's been decades of a phrase.
Yeah,
The everything bubble because of inflation and basically debasing of currency.
So, would they start printing now? Can we go into an epic bull run from here in terms of like Bitcoin constantly going up even more? Like, I don't know. And I have to take seriously the 1,057 bottom to cycle high that I showed you guys, because that's how the cycles repeat. And we do take cycles seriously in crypto. They're on 4-year cycles. They have been. Could this time be different? Yes, it could. Of course, this time could be different. But from probability standpoint, we have to take that seriously. That every cycle is 1,057 days from the low to the high, and we are exactly, as of 2 days ago, at 1,057 days. That would make, what is it, the high of 126,000 on what date was that? October 6th. That was the all-time high. When did it happen? Was it right there? No, it was here. Oh, right there. Yeah, October 6th. That was it. That would have been it. All right. Yeah. So, and that's just based on the cycle timing, as in terms of like it copying the fact that it's repeated. And we're looking at, you're right. Everything is at all-time highs. It's absolutely. So sometimes when things are this high, you can expect something to create what's called a demand-destroying event. And that crushes demand. Prices come down. Are we due for one of those? Sure, we are. Is it going to happen tomorrow, or do we still have 2 months left? Yeah, that's debatable, right? That's debatable. But I have to share all this with you. Let's see here. And like I said, I don't know what's waiting for us on Tuesday morning, right? I don't know what Twitter's going to have and what collateral damage has happened. $20 billion liquidated in one night on Friday is a big fucking deal. That is a lot of money. I know sometimes we forget $20 billion is a lot of fucking capital. And those are a lot of whales, a lot of traders. Those are accounts gone, man. Not gone. They've been transferred.
And again, so clarify that again, the difference between 5x leverage that Ethereum's going to go up and then having that amount of capital disappear because it goes down. So when I hear 19 billion and, wiped out, that's not to me really true, because that's their lever. That's what they would have made or where their position was. And then when it gets liquidated and they're out, it's because, like if you put $100 up and you're going 20x leverage, you had $2,000 worth of capital that got liquidated, but you really only lost $100. You see what I'm saying? So isn't that is that a real, quote unquote, real disappearing of 19 billion, or is that, like you said earlier, 1.5 billion in the previous collapse, or, even when that market, what percentage of the total market cap of all crypto was that at 1.5 billion versus the whole market?
What matters is that they're liquidated, right? They don't have capital. They've been liquidated, right? And we know that the damage is high and that we don't know the collateral damage. And that's what our concern is like, what are we going to hear about Tuesday morning? And that's what we got to see. And what I'm doing is I'm building this case on top of the fact that we're at that cycle in terms of 1,057 days. There's a lot of other things that are adding up in confluence here that are concerning, right? You've got breakdown, Dow Jones Industrial. Here's the industrial. This is absolutely breaking down. Does this mean we're about to make new all-time highs? Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. But I have to acknowledge that it doesn't look good either. NVIDIA, Meta, MicroStrategy, they all look like they could be about to put in new lows.
So if I look at CoinMarketCap, just if I look at the top left of the corner, I can see that there's 25 million crypto, 25 million different crypto token addresses, NFTs, whatever you want to call it, versus the top of the last cycle or something along those lines. And even when 19 billion is wiped out, half of that is fart coin, half of that is, other things that are completely illiquid anyway, or, they do or do not have, supporting community to buy up with real dollars. So if you basically have a 5x on one thing and you rotate it into something else that gets a 2x, and then you rotate it into something else that's levered on hyperliquid, and then you get wiped out, like what actually exits out of the marketplace as far as like capital destruction? And if you look at, what are the total number of Tether that exist, how many have been minted in total, how many USDC, how many other, whether the Genius Act or whatever has enabled things to be called stables. Like that's to me still the capital. And yeah, I can have a $3 trillion market cap asset class as far as crypto asset class, but it's really only underpinned by demand at any given moment. And then those moments of the wicks and things like that the other day, within seconds, a lot of the market demand is gone, and then the market either comes back or it doesn't. That's basically like you said. You get punched in the nose hard enough to where the market goes bearish, or you have some euphoric moment where the market becomes FOMO. That's basically the sentiment, right? So, what actually disappeared out of the marketplace, it wasn't 19 billion spendable. Just like Hex at its all-time high of 51 cents or 55 cents or whatever, that was underpinned by a certain amount of liquidity that could exit. $20 million, $30 million worth.
Gary,
still held up a multi-billion market cap coin.
It's a pretty serious crash, man. I got a message from a buddy of mine at a hedge fund, and he never talks in the language he talked to me. He literally wrote. He wrote to me this, man, and I'm just going to read you what he wrote to me, okay? I can't tell you what hedge fund this is, okay? This is a huge hedge fund, huge fucking hedge fund. He wrote to me, he didn't even say fucking hello to me. He texted me yesterday on a fucking Saturday. These fuckers don't message me on a fucking Saturday. He wrote, what the fuck was that move in crypto? That's all he wrote to me. And I wrote, insider's world, that's why I don't trade on exchanges. Many portfolios went to zero. And then he typed this, which he doesn't talk like this. He wrote, my GD. And I know this guy, and I've never heard him talk like this. So I'm sure he knows either maybe accounts at his hedge fund or traders he knows completely wiped out. Because I've never heard him talk like this before, where he just is like, he wasn't like, hey, man. He was just like, what the fuck is that move? And then, my God. And like, so if I don't know how deep this effect is going to go. Like, I don't know the level of damage or exact amounts, but I know just from listening to his language and, his whole network is between Manhattan and Brickell, right? So, if their sentiments like that, I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, and we're not going to know. We're not going to know until Tuesday or Wednesday, right?
Did stock market tickers have a similar leverage in the system that got liquidated? Because Trump's tweet or China trade war or Ukraine escalation. I mean, this is not crypto
real.
specific.
It's real. They're talking about 100% tariffs. Now, Polymarket had it when I saw it last was 26%. So people are calling the bluff that it won't happen, but the market still reacted. You saw the red candles. I showed you guys MicroStrategy, Nvidia, Meta. I mean, I can go through them all. They're all red. They're all turning in big ways, right? So is this the start of a big trade war? Now, the thing with trade wars is trade wars precede physical wars. This is a fact. I can go to every war. Didn't matter if it was World War I, World War II, whatever. They always start with a type of trade war or financial war first. So we've kind of been in a back and forth with China. Certainly sounds like it's escalating right now, but are they dragging it out? How much of it is actually manufactured? Governments also play these games too. They're not just playing each other, they're also playing us as a population. So you got to keep that in mind. These could be just war games. But, we're taking all this seriously. You'd be kind of retarded to bury your head in the sand right now, right? We can come over here. Ratio total market cap top 10 is good. This was in a falling wedge. Obviously our bullish take is that we're going to break out and move up. Obviously we cracked below the support here, but we've been bought back up on the total. Okay. This is the total market cap to BTC. Obviously, hopefully we're bullish and we break out from here, but absolutely we could come down and do some more work down here before we move up, right? There is something interesting about January too. January is an interesting, I know that some people believe in celestial stuff, some people don't, but it is something significant about January, and maybe I'll do a video when I need to go in there and break it down. But I remember talking with my buddy Stephen Burns. Stephen Burns is a fucking genius, by the way. So when he came on my show, he had, I think, when I started talking to him, he had like 90,000 subscribers or just under 100. And then we did a couple of shows together because he was fascinated with pDAI, and we talked a lot about celestial cycles and Bitcoin. Now he's at like 500 or 600,000 subscribers. Like, he's absolutely blowing up. And the reason he is because he's absolutely brilliant. The guy, he's like a geophysicist, and he just understands what's happening in the universe and the energy patterns and how these things relate to things that are happening on Earth. And it's really amazing. His work is incredible. And him and I talked about something happening in January. And I take him very seriously now because he predicted the pDAI crash. My video that I did with him on pDAI, he did an I Ching. We did some work on it. And I know some of you guys were like, this is retarded. But guess what? Everything he said played out exactly. Everything he said played out exactly like he said, right? So when he tells me that something's going on in January, I do take it a bit seriously. So I'm going to look into that a little bit as well. Mr. Saints being a little dramatic about what? Guys, everything I'm showing you is just on the charts. I'm not giving my opinion that I think the cycle's over. I'm just showing you that I have to entertain the case that it could be, and I'm showing you reasons on the chart why that could be. And the biggest one for me was the BTC low to high, which was 1,057 days. There's nothing dramatic about that. It's just numbers. It's just numbers. That's all it is. Trump Media Group has accumulated approximately 2 billion Bitcoin-related assets, or 2/3 of its total liquid assets. Yeah.
Can you look at the?
Stefan is
I just put a link in, but you can look at anything you want to as far as your trading view and stuff for gold, and then look at the gold or the fear and greed index. I did put a link to it, but it's goldprice.org. So this has been like a rocket in this past month.
Yeah.
As far as like price, or past year, I guess, as far as like a real, so what brings the price of gold down versus the price up? It's not just inflation only as a store of value narrative. It does go to like, trade wars and things like that too, especially with, between China and the United States. China is more of a gold centric as a way to store their, because they don't have they have more capital controls of exit from their country or for their economies.
If something were to happen, gold could go much higher. I'm definitely no expert in gold, but if we had it is more of a bearish sentiment and prices started falling out, people will also sell gold, believe it or not, because that's just how it is. When it's time to sell, everything gets sold. That's just the way it goes. And but if there was, let's say, war, and we escalated into a physical war, things like gold could absolutely start running up. For sure, they could continue to run up. How about Z?
Well, I was saying, what brings the price down? Because do you see capitulation that you're saying about like topping out on real estate, crypto, stock? You're saying all-time highs across the board. The same with gold. Gold is all-time high.
People just sell. People just hit the sell button. It's not. It doesn't need.
But that's because they believe dollar or they believe euro. So they hit sell into what? That's the question.
Oh yeah. They would sell into the currency, and we can go look really quick. Okay, look. Let me show you a couple things really quick. Okay. So here's USDT market cap. Okay, so this would be your stable coin. This would be related to us. Come here, buddy. All right. Now, let me go here. Okay, so this has been an uptrend forever. We know that we draw these. It goes up to this resistance, collapses, goes up, collapses, goes up, collapses. And ideally, we want to see this. It came up to here. We want to see it come down and collapse and go lower, right? That's ideal. That's what we want. That means everyone's dumping their stables for cryptocurrency, right? Well, this trend line has been unbroken since the dawn of fucking crypto. Okay? It's been unbroken. And we, my friends, we have bounced off that trend line. So do we break it and go lower? Or do we bounce like we have every time before and launch up higher? Okay, which would mean obviously everyone's dumping their crypto into stables. So that would look like something like this. Okay, and we come out of there. Just like we've done all these times before, here, right? We go up, we bounce, we bounce, we bounce, we go up, we bounce here, we go up. That is the people selling anything and everything into stables scenario right there, okay? Because we are at a long holding support, okay? So I have to take that seriously as well. So we're looking at confluence. Now, like I said, the bull case is that, no, this is a bearish candle right here, okay? It's not closed. Let's see what it looks like on the 3-day, right? Yeah, so, ideally this trend line down here breaks and we go into an epic bull run, right? That's the ideal case, right? We break down. and we come down and we go through here, okay? And we start running. But I have to entertain the fact, once again, I'm looking at Confluence with all these other indicators that we talked about. It's not emotion, it's just the cycle time, 1,057 days, Meta, MicroStrategy, NVIDIA, all these risk assets looking extraordinarily topped out. Every indicator is over the top. You said every price for everything is all-time highs. Could this be a situation where we spike and we bring value back into stables or dollar? So I have to consider that maybe we don't break down and go higher. Maybe stables get bullish. Let's go look at the Dixie, same thing. Okay, now Dixie's what you're just asking about. The dollar, would people sell into it? Well, what's fascinating about the Dixie, and I'm not a Dixie expert at all, I think the Dixie, could break down, okay? It could, I want it to, but it does look like it could also turn bullish. It could. I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying it could. Just like I showed you with USDT, that it could, right? I have to consider that, or did we break out and we're doing a retest here and we're about to go higher? This looks like a very textbook breakout retest and about to do something like this. Okay? That's what that looks like. It could do. That's a possibility. For everybody in fucking chat starts panicking. I'm just saying it's a possibility that could happen, and this could turn bullish very quick because we have a juicy retest right there. Textbook. Nobody would disagree with that, even if you don't know what asset this is. This is a breakout and retest, and it's making higher lows and higher highs. So it looks like it could continue in that direction, right? So does that mean stables would go higher too? Yeah, they could be related, absolutely. But like I said, ideally, it also looks, it'd be great if it broke down lower. But if we come down here to the monthly and I look at the MACD, you can also see that maybe this is coming to about the point when the dollar could bounce, right? You see what happened here. What's this in October 2021? The dollar bounced. What's happening here? Looks like the blue is about to turn and this is about to go that way. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm just showing you the charts. Everybody fucking calm down. I'm just showing you what I'm seeing in the charts. It'll jump down my throat sometimes. And look, it did it here. You can see it came down here, came out, breakout, retest, and then it continued up. Is that what's going to happen here? I'm just pointing this stuff out, guys. USA wants to help China. Not heard it. Don't worry about China. Was that a real tweet, Trinity God? I saw that. I wasn't sure if somebody was trolling X on that tweet or what that was. If so, it's interesting, right? The fact that he's walking back already. So that makes sense. Polymarket was calling his bluff already. Now, there's a bullish case. And the bullish case, one, was that I was saying Ethereum and alts could go on an epic run. Okay? And also the fact that we do a lot of times see massive upside moves on these liquidation events. Okay? Just like at the COVID, or I didn't say it's C19 or whatever, there are things that indicate to us this could actually be a bullish catalyst as well. Now, I know people are going to say that, well, these institutions were stacking and Trump. I don't really look at that. I don't care so much about that. I look at a lot of these other things. The fact that, one, we didn't break this support. That's a good thing. That's really good, okay? We bounced off support. That's really good. You can see this support going back. That's great. The fact that we've moved up quite quickly, which is very nice, okay? The fact that usually when these leverage washouts happen, it's usually something that happens before we have a massive move to the upside, okay? So these are some really bullish things to keep in mind, that you don't have these leverage washouts usually before you're about to go down. They usually happen before you're about to go up. But they also happen at the tops of bull runs as well. So, I think we're going to find out Tuesday what's going on. I think Tuesday is going to be a big insight. That's when news will break in terms of collateral damage, how bad the damage actually was, and based on that, how long it might take to just recover. Maybe we just get a hiccup, right? We could get a slowdown in this bull run. I've said this before. I think I said this in many videos going back all the way to 2023 and 2024, or at least 2024, where I said, look, what if there was a hiccup in this bull run, and they need an excuse to onboard some kind of digital controls, either a digital ID or a digital something, because maybe they don't get their CBDCs, but at least they get a digital passport or something like that, right? And so they need time to onboard people on that. And then once everyone has that, then they're going to really push crypto again, because then everything's trackable and connected to this digital passport. So maybe there's a hiccup in this bull run. They have a few months in order to create some bullshit that makes everybody have to get this fucking thing. And then they start the next bull run much sooner, which is going to catch a lot of people off guard. Because let's say they start printing in the middle or end of 2026, which could be very realistic to me, like middle to end of 2026, maybe middle, maybe it's sooner than I think. And then what happens is coming into the end of 2026, going into 27, we're ripping up, like they're printing, right? I mean, it's unbelievable, because that's M2V. You want velocity of money in the sense that the public is getting the capital, right? M2 is one thing, but when they're printing again and they're giving it out in stimulus, that's when things go nuts, right? That's when things go really nuts. And maybe that comes soon. But maybe they need this little hiccup to bring on some digital passport or something like that. So that's something to consider too. We've talked about this possibility many times, in theorizing, how this cycle could go. Thanks, Frank. I really appreciate that. I actually put in a lot of thought into a lot of this stuff, and it's not always easy to talk about bear cases, considering the fact that we haven't run. But I have to bring it up because there are, things we got to talk about. We got to address them. And then, but like I said, there's a silver lining here, and maybe ETH and alts take the show, even if BTC's done. You got to remember that. So ETH and alts will run once BTC's done. So if BTC's done, maybe it is time for ETH and alts to have their last go. Check the, okay. I guess it was Barron, bro. Blame it on Barron Trump. Everybody smash the like button out there. Hope you guys appreciate the alpha. Let me know if you have any questions. This is a lot to go over, and I never like bringing bad news, so hopefully it's not bad news. Hopefully Tuesday shows up, everyone's happy. Not happy, but, they start pushing us back up again, and we just resume. I still think if I go to my BTC chart, and I've talked about this before, this is a channel we've had since 2023. My take was that we were going to hit 150, 160. You can see my target right here at 160. You can see that white line right there. We've turned the other direction. You guys have probably seen this chart. I've had this drawing up here for months and months. Let me make this a little clearer so you guys see the white line. So that was my white line of what I was hoping could happen. And we stayed true to it for quite a while until this last collapse we had. But ideally, we were going to break this level at 126, 127, chop a little bit, but make our way up and top out at the midline of this blue channel, which is about 158. But probably, let's say 155 to 160 could be a very realistic target. And that was always the thing, right? Because we've been in this channel forever. It makes sense. But this could also be a point, too, where we could also be topped out already. So I have to consider that, right? But ideally, if we're bullish, I hope we get up here a little bit more. Let's see. Yo, Katie, the same. Let's go look. BTC 115. 115 is fine. We're still under a lot of resistance at 115. Doesn't really do a whole lot for us. We really need to get above 117, 118 to kind of be in better shape. Yeah, 118. We need to get above 118. I think I've said this in Telegram. I said under 117, under 118, bad things happen. And ever since we've been under 117, only bad things have been happening. Except this fucking crazy fake out to 126, which is crazy. Crazy, man. So nuts. Being mailed for Arch coins. The pulsechain came out here in the real world, so I do believe pulsechain will still go. Hopefully pulsechain goes. Like I said, maybe ETH goes. Let's go look at ETH again. Pulsechain could run in the bear. Deerslayer, that's a really interesting point. Let me show you guys something regarding that, because let's say we have this break. Remember I said that the next bull run could start very early and soon. Okay, and maybe I'll do a deep dive at the reasons why, but it could start much sooner, because I think in 2026 is when printing will start. Okay, so that means by 2027 we're moving up, which is going to catch a lot of people off guard because it's sooner than they would expect. Okay, and if I come over here and I show you this asset called Caspa, okay, one thing that was really interesting about Caspa, this fucking charts into that. Okay, so Caspa started running. Let's go to here. Let's see. Caspa started running in the bear market, okay? So it really started about November of 2022, and it made some quite a few gains. It almost 3x'd, and by January 2023, it was ripping like crazy, okay? When most assets weren't, they weren't moving that much. It was already moving through the bear market. Let me see if I can show you guys how much it was moving. So this is the log chart. So most of the move happened between 2022, which was literally the bear market, and it was just running nonstop, okay? So pulsechain could absolutely, if we do get a slowdown here and a little bit of a hiccup, maybe it does start running at that time. That would be one way to get everybody off sides and catch a lot of people off guard. So by the time they actually realized the bull run was back on, pulsechain is 3x from SAC price. That could absolutely be something that could happen. That would be amazing, by the way. And that would be the ultimate fake out, man. That would catch a lot of people off guard. I think there's more to this chart that I'm missing because I think Caspa started sooner than 2021. But I remember it was running hard through the darkest time in crypto. I think FTX had just collapsed not long after Caspa had started running. So, and I missed it. It was good, but you can see it's falling apart now. It's had quite a run. Quite a run. Let's see. It's making lower lows now. So, yeah. Looks like distribution up here. Topped out in summer of 2024. It's on its way down. From 20 to top all the way to 176 weekly. This should be the top for BTC. Let's go back to BTC. What are you saying? Yeah, so, once again, I showed you guys everything I thought that was important, man. And we looked at the risk assets. We looked at US dollar, stable coins. It could be a situation where you have to consider that top is in for BTC. Is this what you're talking about? Draw a trend line from 2017 all the way to 2026 on the weekly? Okay. Yeah, I think I have a kind of trend line going, something like that, like this. Yeah. Yeah, I have a chart where I've looked at this. Yeah, that's another reason. So I have confluence all across the board, by the way. It's not just one metric. I look at all this stuff, right? I look at the fact that, yeah, we look like we're being rejected. Here's what he's talking about here. And once again, this is another one of my charts that I look at. So this is a BT, and I stare at this. I go, we topped there, we hit it there, and we absolutely hit it again, and we could not get above it. We've been rejected over and over and over again. So you have to consider that, and you got to take that very fucking seriously, because that with confluence with other things is telling me, giving me a picture, right? So we can't get above that. When I come back here, we've talked a lot about this, there's another resistance here too, which is this red line right here. Now, obviously we have a nice juicy inverse head and shoulders, okay, that we're hoping to play out, but we're definitely struggling right here. So could still be a bear trap, and could absolutely be that time where we rip to the upside. But MicroStrategy looks like it's breaking down. A lot of other things do look like they're breaking down. So something to think about. Where is link? Let's get link really quick. All right. Let's see. Solid X is going lower and lower and lower as well. Let's go to Pulse. Got some nice juicy green. What if Richard Hart starts to pump now? What if we blast off now? That's possible. Yeah, a little bit of green there. We are bouncing at support. I'm hoping we don't break this support. Let's see, Pulse X. Yeah, same thing. We're at support. We're really down there. We're down to the ground. We need to be bullish very soon. If not, this and pulsechain and everything connected to it is going to go lower. We're going to break down into these lower areas. So we need to get some So this would be the time where things start getting bullish, right? Because we need to start making some higher lows and start moving out of here, because otherwise that support is going to break there. Now, this is something I want to show you guys. Where is that? I'm gonna. All right, this was from. This is from. I believe August. Okay, wait, is it showing up for you guys? Oh shit. Fuck. All right, this was from 2 months ago. All right, and I drew. You can see the pDAI chart where the pDAI was. It had hit this resistance, and I drew this. Okay. And let's go look at the pDAI chart. Look at that. So here's the pDAI chart. And here's my drawing from August when we were under this resistance. I drew this. Let me grab some water. They wanted me to speak at this pDAI conference and go over the TA, but look, man, I literally have given you guys all the TA for free constantly on this. And once again, this is from 2 months ago. You can see here, this is 2 months ago. It's still online. You can go live from August, watch the show, When Moon, and you can see it for yourself. And then come over here to the pDAI chart where we are now. Not only did I hit my targets get hit exactly, but we followed exactly what I drew, which was crazy. Like, look at that drawing. I drew exactly the turns it was going to take, and almost followed it. There is a wick going up here, by the way. So it did hit that, and it got rejected, and then came down just like I drew. Except for this guy. We had that crazy sell right there, that wick that came through. That was a surprise. If this turns out to be a BTC top, where would you expect to see a bottom? Are 80% drops out of the equation now that institutions are in the game? No, 80% drops are not out of the equation. They are absolutely still very possible. And the reason is leverage and forced sellers, people who have to sell to cover other shit that you can't imagine right now. Like I said, you're going to find out Tuesday. Let's say worst case scenario, something's broken somewhere. Well, if something's broken and they can't make whole, they have to dump their BTC maybe. So you don't know the situation, but forced sellers are what cause these cascade liquidations, either through liquidations or people that have to cover, other IOUs. And so what happens is they just hit the sell button, and BTC could just start crashing on that alone, right? So yeah, it's not out of the question. It could happen. And I think it could be short-lived in the sense that it would be the ultimate buying opportunity. You would get deals on everything, and you should absolutely be scooping everything up, because I do think we have really high targets coming not too far in the future. So hopefully we go up now, but let's say there is a bit of a delay because of all these issues. I still think ETH is going to 15, 16,000, if not much higher in the very near future, and BTC going to 150, maybe 250 eventually, and higher, of course. So I'm still very, very, very bullish on crypto. So it would be a great opportunity if that did happen. But an 80% drop would take us down to, let's look at that really quick. I'm gonna do this one here. Let's go. What the fuck? So if you were to get an 80% drop from here, let me see if that's what's realistic here. Actually, we have no idea what could happen in terms of like. So 70,000, so it'd be 30%. We can run a fib. Yeah, so let's say 40,000. I mean, it could absolutely come down here to 30,000 or 40,000 could be likely. It could smash through there. That would be about 80% drop, right? An 80% drop would be 25,000, 24,000. That would be a pretty severe drop. I think it's still possible, though, to be honest. If I were just to draw a line and not even put too much thought into it and just go, okay, cool, let me just draw a line here. I could do something like this and go like, cool, what's that? Give me some confluence. What's this line up with? It's just a very rough, let's draw it here. I like that. So where's that line up? So that would be October of 20, let's say July of 2026 or April. Let's just 30,000. That would have some confluence. So maybe it is 30,000 could be the bottom. So that is almost 80%, man. That's like 75% drop. So just going off this very simple drawing, non-technical, very simple, you get 30,000 right there, confluence. It's not out of the cards. And that would be bad. Yeah, that would be bad. But, you know, like you saw what happened with this liquidation crisis, pulsechain was mostly unaffected. Why? Because most of the sellers are gone. Okay, most of the sellers are out of pulsechain. And the rest of the people left are mostly diamond handers, and nobody's leveraged on it, right? So there's a lot of positive things. We might be the best place to be right now. pDAI. All right, let's look at, I think PWBTC or Inc. Let's look at Inc. Inc. is dancing around here about 130. It's just breaking level after level, kind of making its way into this purple box, which I do think it will hit something in here before it goes up. So let's see what happens. Everything's at the mercy of broader things right now, you know, because people do have their fingers crossed. Some people are bullish and waiting for the rip to the upside. Some people are also entertaining the fact that maybe that was the top. So there's a lot of uncertainty in the market right now. It's only Sunday night. It's Sunday night, right? Yeah. WBTC, not looking good either. $450. I think it's still a great deal here, but absolutely, if things broke down, it could go a little lower. I'm waiting for bullishness to come into pulsechain so we can talk about what the fucking disaster. I gotta clean this thing up. I want bullishness to come into pulsechain so we can start really, really looking at the higher targets here. But yeah, just in the natural, this looks like it could also be waiting to break down a little bit here. But our whole ecosystem looks green right now. Everything's got some green candles, which is nice. This was my Atropa drawing. Right now, it's playing out eerily on point. This is another one I drew a long time ago, and it's fucking ridiculously drawing. It's playing out perfect. Look where it broke down right into this first part of the drawing. Hey, shout out to Yoon Anderson, by the way. Yoon Anderson, friend of the channel. I think he's a Hex OG, but he's chilling in his Tesla, and he was watching the show, so I'll play this. Escalates, or the U.S. escalates, which is a possibility, then the dump can continue, right? So these are things to think about, like we'll pay attention to the news or what have you. But it could be a great sign, actually, in the sense that this could have just been a great event to take everybody out, and now we can move up. Market makers are happy. Let's go look at BTC. Nice. Thanks, brother. Really appreciate that. I reposted that in the stories. And yeah, that was awesome, man. Nice looking Tesla, by the way. Really nice looking Tesla. You know, a lot of things did bounce from support, so there is some hope here. At the same time, even Link made a lower high from what it did back in December. I don't know. We're going to see what happens on Tuesday. I think we'll know. So yeah, just come to the Instagram, St. Wolf 369. That's where we're going to post all the alpha going forward. Obviously, we're going to post stuff in the Telegram, but you're going to get the alpha first on Instagram. So definitely follow there for updates. The really important updates we're going to do on the Instagram. So just follow the channel, and I'll post it in the stories. Let's see what else. Hex is still in this falling wedge. It is what it is. It's just bouncing hard. It's nice, but, just doing what it's doing. Now, this is a bullish pattern, so when it does break out of here, I think it'll be go time. So that'll be nice. Maybe it's time to redraw this a little bit. Let's see, go to E-Hex. E-Hex just in this channel, just going sideways, looking a bit droopy right now. I think it'll just chop in this range until we get bullishness on pulsechain and some clarity about whether ETH is going up, and we're about to do it. Now, just to recap really quick, ETH needs to get above 49.50 and close, let's say, on a weekly to really confirm this. I mean, a daily could be fine, but we need to close above 49.55 on the weekly. And we're close. We're close. But we got to respect what's happening and kind of like entertain any possibility going forward here. Trump could have also tweeted. They could be strategically tweeting right now, right, to keep everybody calm. Like, they scared the crap out of us on Friday. Trump's tweet was very intense, provocative, shocking, aggressive toward China. And then today he posts, don't worry, everything's fine, right? Get everybody buying back in and comfortable. And then Tuesday they post another spicy tweet, right? Oh no, China, we're escalating again, blah, blah, blah. Or, we find out that some big firm in crypto's broken or something snapped and, blah, blah, blah. So I think we might have a bit of a roller coaster. Let's see. What else do we need to cover? We got everything. Going out. Let's see what the guys are talking about here. Oh yeah, you can go look at this. Moon King is in Costa Rica or something. I don't know what he's doing. Is he just on vacation? What? So the Trump tweets. Let's see. Let's see what these boys are talking about.
Not ranked daily. I don't know
it's
how.
just trending. Yeah, it's just probably a bunch of metrics then. So X Game is up, like it says 27% on the day, which is wild considering how much just went in, right? But it did get done. Like, if that was maybe like a 50% day, we'd probably, all the metrics like average out and we'd probably be at like 63 or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Like the liquidity on it is more than Peacock. The market cap is double Peacock's. The only thing Peacock's got right there on it, it looks like, is the 50% move on Peacock for the day. Weird. Bro, our volume is up there, bro. Like, it's good.
All right. October, Barron Trump has reportedly made $80 million from his Bitcoin and crypto investments, as per Forbes. He'll be the youngest self-made billionaire in no time, purely through hard work and instinctive trading skills. Awesome. Good for him, man. Good for him. Yeah, we ain't selling. It's called leadership. Why did... I don't know. I think he's fighting with with somebody, Tiger, but I think that happens with Tiger often. Oof. Damn. So just to recap really quick, guys, BTC cycles are 1,057 days long from low to high, okay? They're 1,057 days long from low to high, all right? And earlier in the show, we went through this and we calculated the lows to the highs, and each low to a high is exactly 1,057 days, okay? Each one was 1,057 days, all right? And you go back earlier in the video where we go through this, and and right now, as of October 6th, it was 1,057 days. So if it's the cycles repeating like it has multiple times before, the top could be in for BTC, all right? But this time could be different. It could be. It could absolutely could be. So I think that we're going to find out a lot on Tuesday with how much damage there is and how much retaliation or back and forth there could be with China, U.S., what they're going to escalate on or what could happen next. Either way, you know, don't touch your pulse chain bags. I think we could move anytime, okay? We could absolutely move anytime. And who knows, maybe we get some good news on Tuesday and we have bullishness into at least Thanksgiving or the holiday, right? That would be really ideal, right? We just absolutely have a rip-roaring end of the year blast off. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind that things can turn on a dime, and if we turn bullish, we're doing 4 to 6 weeks of like 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 X's could happen overnight, okay? But also, you know, we have to see what happens. Be ready for anything, really. And once again, we're going to post in Telegram, but we're going to post in Instagram first. So Instagram 369, because I want people who watch the show to get the information first. So I'm only announcing it here. I'm not putting the Instagram in the Telegram. So people who are just stalking the Telegram aren't going to find out. Only you guys who actually follow the Instagram are going to find out any important information first. All right. Because there's going to be a lot to talk about going forward in terms of the strategy Richard Hart uses as he moves pulse chain. So one thing I want to leave you with is that being offsides is a real thing, okay? It's going to happen in every asset class. You can see the fight between BTC and ETH, right? People were offsides and then ETH moved, or they were in ETH and it was only BTC moving. Or Solana, for example, had convinced everybody it was finished, and then it did an epic move from $8 to, was it $300 or whatever it was. So there's going to have to be a situation where people are offsides on pulse chain. So I'm going to share with you guys what my take is going to be as we go forward. But I do think, and I've said this before, my hunch is that it's very possible, very, very possible that Richard starts with Hex and not pulse chain. And there's a number of reasons for this. All right. One, and then this is just, once again, this is just total like speculation. We don't know. But everyone's the most short or bearish on Hex, especially eHex. Okay. One. Two, everyone's offside. So everyone's in like either pDAI or some altcoin or you know, something else, right? They're not in Hex per se, right? So that would be another reason why maybe the Hexes could be where he focuses a lot of his attention, okay? But the other thing is that he posted these videos kind of reaffirming his anti-stance against gambling and trading and all this stuff. And then I saw some, you know, posts from one of the projects that is a casino, an online casino, posting kind of in his feed, like, you know, a bit of whatever it was, challenging him on that, right? So maybe he knows that there are projects tied to Pulse Chain or other projects he has, you know, and there's a lot of projects on the chain that are tied to. So maybe part of being offsides is that he doesn't pump Pulse Chain first, you know, leaving people wondering what's going on and moving Hex first. All right. And that wouldn't be too far-fetched an idea. And because, you know, Hex is also his first project. It's a project everyone knows about, Okay, everyone knows pulsechain's a layer 1. Everyone knows that it's going to go up eventually. What people don't know psychologically is whether Hex is ever going to go up again. You got to keep that in mind. So if I were to go to Crypto Ran or like talk to anybody in the broader crypto market, and I'd say like, look, pulsechain's a layer 1. Do you think it'll pump? They'll be like, yeah, it's probably going to pump for sure. Like at some point there'll be a pump. But if I said to them like, do you think Hex will ever pump? Everybody says no. Fucking everyone says no. Hex is never going to pump. It's dead. You know, just as a guy who's been in this business for a little while and trading, and I have an understanding of these charts, I can tell you that maybe that's enough for me to get very bullish on Hex. Okay? Just that right there. And think about that. Like, walk yourself through it. Like, go ask anybody you know on Solana or like a friend you that trades something and go like, hey, you think pulsechain will pump? And they'll be like, yeah. And then ask them, will Hex pump? And they'll say, no, it's done. So, yeah. And I'm sure the Heartman knows this too. So maybe Hex takes the stage. Maybe he puts all the attention on Hex. That would be very interesting, wouldn't it? And it would leave a lot of people sidelined, and it would leave a lot of people regretting what they've done because they've sold their Hex for pDAI or pulsechain or pulsex or ink or whatever, right? Like they've sold it. And then he ends up rewarding the most loyal people. He ends up not rewarding people building projects off the back of a pulsechain or whatever it is, waiting to just get a free pump or a free ride. And then he also sticks it to the broader crypto market who really believes that Hex is finished. They really believe this. Okay. And so Richard Hart, knowing his personality, maybe he moves that one first. So I'm going to leave you guys with that because, you know, I think about strategy a lot. So if you guys appreciate this alpha, smash the like button. That goes without saying. Subscribe to the channel, but definitely come to the Telegram where you're going to get amazing updates, you know, and go to the Instagram at SaintWolf369. Crypto and Coins, thank you so much for that repost. Really appreciate that. But I'm going to post at the Instagram. So just follow. It's free. But that way you guys get the information before anybody else does. So SaintWolf369, it's at the bottom of the screen. I'm not going to post this link on Twitter or Telegram. So if you know about the Instagram, it's because you saw the show, and that's the only people that are going to know about it. Just an FYI. So really quick, we'll go back to... yeah, so I posted this on 20th. Something soon should take out all the leverage. So there's definitely a lot of alpha. This guy, I saw this earlier. I don't think this is real. I think this is AI.
Sorry, I know that was old. But have you heard of pulsechain?
So weird.
Sir, put the device down.
It's definitely fake, right? There's nobody in the background flinched.
Sorry, I know that was old. But have you heard of pulsechain?
Sir, put the device down.
Oh, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. You guys are absolutely amazing. Thanks again for everything. What an awesome show. Chat, you guys are incredible. Everybody smash the like button. I may even stream tomorrow. We're gonna slowly find out what's actually going on, what's broken. So this is gonna be interesting.
I'm not scared to say that I'm insecure, but you're too scared to say that you want more. Girl, don't call my phone up. I know where you been. You like to get messy when you out with your friends. I'm not scared to say that I'm insecure, but you're too scared to say that you want more. You don't gotta tell me I'm the truth. I already knew. Pull up in a Billy coupe, finna cop it too. You don't gotta tell me I'm the truth. I already knew. Pull up in a Billy coupe, finna cop it too. You don't gotta tell me I'm the truth. I already knew. Pull up in a Billy coupe, finna cop it too.
Armando, appreciate it, man. Good to see you, buddy. Cindy, you have a good one too. T.S. Pedro's good to see you as always. KD, what's up? We're at 97 likes. I'm just literally waiting for it to get to 100. Yeah, we got the Interpol thing. That's going to be interesting. You know, sometimes it's good having that little bit of FUD hanging over the chain, to be honest. Like a little bit of Interpol FUD. It makes people not touch it until they see a lot of green candles. So some good things about that. 99. We're almost there. Frank. Anytime, man. Appreciate you guys. Kirill. Appreciate you too, buddy. I see you on Instagram, man. I see you all the time. Thanks for your support. Good seeing you. What's up? You got one more like. Damn. What's up, Acid Thunder? Good seeing you, man. I have some other reasons why I think the strategy of Richard Hart's going to be really interesting going forward. And I'll talk more about that later. But yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. Mr. JM, thank you so much, man. Glad you're enjoying them. We almost hit 100. We almost got to 100 likes. Oh, we just blasted through. Just made my night. Now I can go to bed in peace. Good night, everybody. Love you.